Hello ladies and gentlemen, Ecology here, and welcome to the 9.15.1 test server. And in this video I'm going to be showing you the next three HD models. The Grub Tractor Krupp, which I'm probably saying that wrong because I'm not German. The Panzer III, the E75, and the Jagdpanzer Hetze. Jagdpanzer 38T, or Hetzer. And they all look fantastic. Now, you might be wondering why the mouse is on the list of things. It's because it has got a quote-unquote rework, but I'm not quite sure what they reworked on the tank, except for maybe damage details, welding details. I'm not quite sure. But if you can tell me what they added to the mouse to make it different, I guess, or fixed, or... because I can't see anything. I can't see anything. But with that being said, enjoy these HD models. So here we are with the Grub Tractor Krupp. I'm not German. I suck at German. But yes, this vehicle is a tier 3. I think it's a tier 3. Yeah, it's tier 3. It is it wasn't experimental. It was more used as a training vehicle than anything else, and it looks fantastic. I'm sorry that I won't be doing it in such great detail as I do in before, because this is quite a, well, rare-ish tank to find, even on the test server. Look at the suspension. That's awesome. Now, I don't know if the road wheels are supposed to work like that, but this one, yes. That's a clear yes. But I don't know if those are individually up and down, and that's just like a pogo stick, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But I have to say, it looks quite nice. It does look quite nice. Yeah, it is like a pogo stick. What I mean by the pogo stick is, if you look here, it's just like a shock absorber type thing, which I think is awesome. So I don't know how that type of suspension works and how it would work properly. So I give the suspension a 6 out of 10 because I'm not quite sure if that's how it works properly, but it does look fantastic. So the detail that I can see is you got road wheels, which looks nice. You got the drive sprocket, which is one of the most prettiest things on this tank, is the drive sprocket. I like looking at the drive sprocket. A lot of rivets, and I mean a lot of rivets. You got the front idler wheel, which I like this track setup. I really do. The track looks fantastic. Let's spin it towards the light, because I hate the dark. But look at that track. I think the track looks fantastic. Got some tow hooks. That would be a hull-mounted machine gun, as you might be watching that in the background. You got a driver's port, or the co-driver driver's port. We got a hatch right there. Maybe it's 3 people in the front. 1, 2, 3. Driver, radio operator, and machine gunist. I don't know. As we look at the other side of this vehicle, we have a shovel, and we have the ventilation, or not the ventilation, the exhaust ventilation. But look at the jiggle physics. Down, up, down, up. I love that. I quite enjoy this vehicle. I quite enjoy it a lot. So the back of the tank, you basically have the standard Maxim machine gun with a hatch that looks like you have to unbolt, which would be very annoying. Got some tail lights, reverse lights probably, some more tow hooks to get it unstuck, the ventilation for the engine, which all looks fantastic. And then it comes to the turret, which looks fantastic as well, and it does have rifling. You can barely see it, but it does. And it does have a Maxim machine gun. I'm pretty sure that would be a Maxim. But the favorite feature about this vehicle is what happens when you fully elevate the gun, which I think is hilarious. Wait a second, elevate. Look at that. That is hilarious. That is a hilarious angle to be firing at. Like, I love it. This tank is so silly. I'm glad they HD it. I'm glad that they did. Is it really important? No, not at all. But I'm super glad that they HD'd this field. I'm super glad. So that's it for this tank. Onwards to the next one. Look at that suspension. I love the suspension on this thing. Look at that. They're up, they're down, they're all around. I love it. Ooh, it even has some underneath detail that you can't see. Interesting. Barely see it, but there is detail under there. Such a pretty tank. Such a pretty tank. Come on, move yourself. Fine, I'll do it this way. Alright. So we have a nice drive sprocket in the front, typical German. I love that each little hole on these wheels are see-through. You got a hatch down here, which I'm not quite sure what the hatch is used for. You got return rollers on the top, 6 road wheels, which is awesome. I think they're beautiful. And then you got the eye of the wheel in the back, which looks fantastic. I like that. Then side detail, you can see from the back, you got a marker light. You got a bar to hold the antennae. The antennae will basically fold up or fold down when in use or not in use. Got a shovel, looks like a sledgehammer. You got the crank bar to start up the engine. You just plop it in a hole and you crank it, and basically you can crank start. I'm guessing that is an axe, not sure. You got a storage box, which is quite nice. Got a side viewport for the co-driver or the machine gunist in the front to look out of. You got a commander's hatch. You got the side hatch, which is typical on German tanks. A viewport. He's not sporting the upgraded turret. And the upgraded turret has this space armor, which adds more protection. But you have the gun, which is quite nice. Big commander's hatch all around. Then in front of the vehicle, we see that the drive sprocket matches nicely with the track. You got a horn, marker light, headlight, the machine gun port. You got some hatches to view the transmission and the hubs. Got another headlight. I don't know what that is. That's another marker light. Same thing over here. Got the driver's viewport. You can see rifling in the gun, which is awesome. There is a coax machine gun, which is good. The bad thing about Panzer IIIs is there's no place for your driver and co-driver to get out. They basically have to go out through the turret, which kind of sucks on Panzer IIIs. Panzer IVs, at least you can get out. At least. And then taking a gander at the other side of the tank, the suspension is quite the same. Same thing with the top of the turret. Big commander's hatch. You have a spare road wheel on the side. You got the traditional block of wood. You place it underneath the jack so it doesn't seep into the ground. And there's the jack. External fire extinguisher. Another road wheel. Looks like a tanker bar and an external storage bin to keep all your goodies. The engine deck detail, you have 2 engine intakes for nice cold air or air to circulate through the engine. Got some hatches here and there to get inside the engine, which is quite nice. On top of the turret you have a ventilation. I'm not sure what that is. Just a little hatch thingy cover. Then you've got the commanders. On the upgraded turret you have the same things, except you do get this basket on the side of it to hold more stuff, which is quite nice. then we look at the rear end of the tank. You have the exhaust, twin exhaust. Got a thingy right here. I think right there, that's where you would shove that tank bar in to crank the engine up. And that's really much it for this vehicle. All in all, I like the Panzer III. I think it's a wonderful vehicle. I'm so glad that it's in HD, because they had the Stug in HD. The Stug was HD already, but not the Panzer III, which is upsetting. But like in Germany, it's much easier to build tank destroyers than it is tanks, which I found funny and I laughed my butt off. Yep. Can I climb it? Nope. And with that being said, that's it for the Panzer III. I'll see you in the next tank, or in the garage, whichever one. Jiggle physics. I love jiggle physics. Look at that. Reversing. Forwards. Taut like a rubber band. Love it. And see you guys in the next one. So here we are with the E75, a German prototype-ish tank based on a design that's similar to the Tiger II. So basically the suspension is very similar to the Tiger II, so there's really not much to go on in that, but it does look fantastic. I do like the Tiger II suspension, and this is no different. And it looks fantastic. The E75, that looks fantastic. I love it. So, now I can look at some details. The track looks fantastic, I have to say that. The drive sprocket does mash up nicely with the track, which is nice. You have 2 hooks for towing. Look at the welding. The welding, the metal, all looks fantastic on this vehicle. Front detail is pretty bland. You do have this marker light on a stand, which is quite nice. You got the driver's port, the co-driver's port. Got a viewport for the gunner to see out. Yeah, I want to see gun rifling, but you got another viewport right here. You got the ventilation. You got the commander's hatch. 2 viewports on each side, which are quite nice actually. I want to see gun rifling. Please, please. Okay, never mind. Oh, nope, okay. Now to take a gander at the side of the vehicle. You have a very beautiful drive sprocket, some very nice road wheels. Same thing, I want to say it's like very similar to the Tiger II suspension and hull design. You got side skirts, which I really like side skirts. Look at the welding, I love it. You got a tow hook, tent poles, I'm pretty sure those are tent poles, because what else would there be? More tow cables, or just cables altogether. Spare track on the side of the turret, which looks fantastic. Some hand hooks to nicely hook onto the vehicle, or to get onto the vehicle, so to say. Twin exhaust, which look fantastic. I don't know what those are. I'm guessing it has something to do with like the track tensioning or something, but I'm not sure. You got the jack down here, which is quite nice. Got the block of wood, which you put that on the ground, then you put the jack, and then you jack the tank up, so helps spread the weight, which is quite nice. Rear of the turret, you do have a hatch on the turret to get in and out, which is quite nice. More spare track on the turret, and you got a shovel on this side. You got the crank, so if your starter's not working, you can manually put it in the butt of the tank, start cranking it as hard as you can to maybe start the engine. Got some tow hooks, or cable, tow cable, the tanker bar, and some more tent poles. I'm guessing they're tent poles, like I don't really know what else they would be. And to look at the top of the turret, there we go. We got a hatch here for probably the loader or gunner, the ventilation, and not really that much. You got some hooks here for the crane to come in and lift it away, which is quite nice. I quite like the E75. The armor's fantastic. I don't know if they changed the armor specs of this vehicle, but the armor's fantastic. I didn't check the engine deck. I didn't do the engine deck. My bad. You got 2 hatches here and here for the driver. You got an axe. You got a shovel here. And for the engine deck, we got vents and grills. We got the radiator fans. And we got the hatches for the engine. That's basically it. And the fuel and engine oil caps. I'm guessing that's what those are. But all in all, very fantastic tank. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Now, I think the only tank in the line that needs to be HD is the Tier 1. I think. I would love to see the Tier 1 HD. I really, really, really would. But that's it for the E75. Back to the garage, or to the next vehicle. Whatever I feel next. I love it. Right after suspension. It's like a, I don't know what to call it, but I think it looks fantastic. Oh, I love it. The Yetzer is one of the most beautiful tanks, in my opinion. But you never really saw the justice of its beauty until now, because it's HD. Oh, P.S. the derp. Look at that, rifling on the derp gun. I love it. So we got the driver's hatches right here, or hatches, viewport, which is quite nice. Got the track, which looks very pretty. I like the little outspurts, and the drive sprocket matches nicely with the track, which is quite nice. Pretty sparse of detail on the front. We got the traditional German brick of wood, and I'm guessing a marker light. I don't really know what else to call it, but a marker light. Now we look at one of the sides of the tank. Nice looking drive sprocket. It doesn't look like it's see-through, which is quite sad. But we got pretty road wheels, and I do really like these road wheels. Nice drive, or either wheel in the back, which is see-through. Like, it just might be because it's dark. I don't know. But you got some side skirts, which I like side skirts. I really do. Look at the side of this vehicle. You can see the welding, the metal. So, I like it. Look at the exhaust pipe. I like the big exhaust on the Yetzer. You got a shovel, the tank bar, the jack. I want to say that is a... What tool is that? A hammer and some wire snips. Or... yeah, wire snips. So from the rear of the tank, you can see the track very nicely. I kind of like that. I like that a lot. You got some ventilation for the engine. Got a big hatch right here. The hatch up here. The rear end of the machine gun. Some spare track, which looks nice. The exhaust. Some more spare track, and a very big loop of cable for some spare cable. Tow hooks. Which looks fantastic, I have to say. Got the roof-mounted machine gun, which looks fantastic. Not really that much detail. We do have the, I guess, the antennae. I'm guessing that's what that is. The antenna. Storage box on the back. All in all, not bad. Detail a little bland compared to like the Jagdpan or the the Panzer 38T that they released the next patch, which like had a log on the side, a spare road wheel. It was like fantastic. But I can't complain. I've been waiting for this vehicle to be HD for a very long time, and I'm so happy that it is in HD because it looks just fantastic. Like, look at this thing. And I thought this thing was slow, but I never upgraded mine, so it still had the stock engine. But it can go 42 kilometers. That's pretty fast for a vehicle. Well, it's still somewhat slow, but 42? Wow. Well, that's the Yetzer. I really enjoy it. I give this thing a 8 out of 10 because I've just been waiting for this forever and I love So that's it. So here we are with the first AHD model, the Grub Tractor, and as we can see, got some weathering effects on this tank, and it looks really good around the hatches, around the gun. Looks pretty well. I like the weathering down the side where it's all dirt up, muddy. Well, not really muddy, it's just dirty that covers the paint, and I like that. Weathering around the exhaust. I love that drive sprocket. The drive sprocket looks fantastic. And again, I am sorry that I can't get a closer view of the tank. It's just this is a quote-unquote rarer tank than most tanks in the game, so getting a close-up look is kind of hard. Got some weathering around here. Weathering around the rear machine gun, which I really wish that worked, but it kind of would be useless. It is a machine gun. Weathering around the engine deck, around the vents. Same sort of weathering on the side as you would find on the other. Turret has weathering here and around the hatches. Looks pretty well. I really like the look of this tank. That's the main reason why I bought the Grub Tractor, is because it looks fantastic and I thought it was hilarious. So I picked myself one up. And I don't regret it. I really enjoy this vehicle. Like, just to look at it in the garage is just pure joy. And doing training rooms with it, showing off its ridiculous gun elevation. So here's the Panzer III. Not that bad of a detail job. Is that like a shell divot? I don't know. Got the spaced armor, which looks quite nice. I really wish they add more variations of tanks. Like I want, like they did with the Panzer IV. They added the Panzer IV, 3 different variations of the Panzer IV, and I like that. Why can't they do that with the Panzer III? Got some nice turret weathering. Because there's a lot of different variations. Granted, it's the same chassis, same turret. All it is just different guns, but I don't know, add a tier 2, add a tier 3 Panzer III. I don't know. Would be awesome. Or is this tier 3? I'm not sure. Some wear and tear around the engine deck. Weathering effects. Looks pretty good, actually. Because it's kind of sad that the Panzer IV in the game is much more powerful than the Panzer III, even though this tank was designated at the beginning of the war as a tank killer. Which is quite sad that this thing struggles killing tanks of its own tier or higher. Lower, it's pretty well. But I like the Panzer III. I like the way it looks. It's historical-ish. And here's the E-75, a tank that we all been waiting for. This overpowered monster, armor-wise. Not much weathering on the front plate. A little weathering on the fenders. A little weathering on the lower plate. Weathering on the side skirts. Not many scratches. Interesting. Well, this was this experimental tank. I don't think this thing actually was built. So, it probably never saw combat, so not having that much weather makes sense. Some weathering around the engine hatches, the vents, stuff like that. Roof covers and stuff like that. Pretty nice. The Tiger III. T3, or E-75 for short. I like it. I really enjoyed the E-75 when I was playing it. Wasn't a bad vehicle. And to one of my favorite tanks that they have HD modeled, the Hetzer. I need to buy mine back. Like, I sold mine like a long time ago. Now I really want to buy it back because it just looks fantastic. Weathering around the gun, weathering here and there. Scratches along the side casement. I love the exhaust. That's the main thing I like about this tank is the exhaust. Weathering around the hatches. I love the machine gun. The MG, I think it's a 42, but I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with machine guns. But it looks fantastic. But the good thing is, with other nations being implemented, like the Czechoslovakian, the Swiss, the hopefully other nations like Romania and Hungary and stuff like that, we'll see a lot more Hetzers or Marder 38Ts, or not Martyrs, Jagdpanzers 38Ts. Because I know Czechoslovakian tank destroyer branch has to have one of these. That has to, because it's their tank. They produced them, so it would make sense that they have at least one tank destroyer of these in their tech tree. But the good thing is they made so many variations of this tank, like different gun configurations, different like things. Like there's a book on different designs for one tank, and it's amazing. Like different exhaust configurations, different engines. And that's what I like. Like, not every single tank that Wargaming copies is a exact copy. Like, just look at the LT-25T or 25 and compare it to the German Panzer 35. And they're completely different. They have different characteristics, different guns, different engines, and stuff like that. And I think that's awesome, because why implement the same tank? Implement a different version of the same tank, because two tanks might have the same name, but not necessarily they're the exact same. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these 4 HD models, and if you can tell me what they changed to the mouse, visualize, I would be grateful, because I have no clue. Except maybe that hatch got prettier, I don't know. I have no clue. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next 4 HD models. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. See you guys. Bye-bye.